Hello, this is Father Aaron Westman with the Glen Mary Home Missioners, and this is your Missioner Moment. My brothers and sisters, there's a really wonderful movie. I'm sure many of you have seen it. If you haven't, I really encourage you to do so. It's called A Hidden Life, and the director of that movie is Terrence Malick. And it is truly an astounding, breathtaking, and very profound movie indeed. It's set during World War II, and at this particular time during the war, all these Austrian men are being asked to pledge loyalty to Hitler and therefore serve the cause of the Nazis. And so many people are doing this, and they're just kind of going along with the crowd. And then there is one man, the main character, Franz, and he is just torn up inside. He's having a struggle with his own conscience. He cannot pledge loyalty to Hitler. He cannot serve the cause of the Nazis. And of course, he's afraid. He's afraid for his family. He's afraid for his village. He's afraid for his own self and what it would mean if he decides not to pledge loyalty to Hitler. But the thing that he fears the most is going against his conscience and going against the will of God, and therefore potentially losing his soul because of choosing to do wrong things. And the wonderful quote that comes from the movie is, "It's better to suffer injustice than to do it." And the rest of the movie depicts this man's valiant effort to not give loyalty to Hitler and therefore suffer for the cause of what is right and what is good. My brothers and sisters, in the gospel this weekend, Jesus is addressing his disciples, and many of them are afraid. They're afraid for what it might mean for them to live the life of Jesus, that Jesus is calling them to proclaim the gospel. They're afraid that they'll be persecuted. They're afraid that they'll be hurt. They're afraid that they'll be rejected. They're afraid perhaps that they might even be killed. And Jesus says, I recognize all of those fears. But the thing we should all fear the most is potentially losing our soul because we failed to do the will of God. We fail to live as Jesus' disciples. My brothers and sisters, if the last 3 or 4 months have taught us anything, it is that the lives of comfort that we once lived are no longer the same. The normalcy that we once lived no longer exists. There is all kinds of tumult taking place in the world, and we as disciples of Jesus are faced with many difficult decisions to make, and we may be afraid for any number of reasons. But Jesus teaches us that the thing we should fear the most is failing to do God's will, and therefore potentially losing our own soul. Let us choose, therefore, to do the will of God, even if it means we might suffer injustice, but that we might truly save our souls in Christ.